Hi everybody, it's Sharon, it's She Knits, and I'm going to show you how to work an I-cord. And these are for some straps for Kimmy and Samantha. And I'm going to start off with 2 strands, because both of those particular straps you work with 2 strands held together. And I want to say something about substituting leather or plastic or whatever other kinds of handles. If you want to do so, you need to wait until you've finished your bag to see how long of a strap that you want for Kimmy. And for Samantha, well, and for both of them you're going to have to wait because it's a mystery and I'm not going to give away anything. But for Samantha, for sure, the body of the bag strap needs to be, there's going to be a few different straps for Samantha, but the body of the bag strap, you really need to do a knit strap, an I-cord strap, and you'll see why when you're finished. But I take 2 strands of yarn, hold them together, make my slip knot, and I have double pointed needles because that's what you need. Though you can do it on straights, it's just there's an extra step involved. That's a big pain. So some people really loathe I-cords. I think that they're nice, mindless, meditative, mantra-like knitting. I'm going to cast on 2 more stitches, so I have a total of 3 stitches. Okay, now for normal knitting, you have your working yarn, you'd turn and you'd start working with the end, your working yarn being closest to the end of the needle. For I-cord, it's the opposite. You want to slide your stitches all the way across the needle, and you're going to be taking your working yarn back across the backs of all the stitches. Okay, so now I'm going to knit. I bring the I-cord in between the needles. You don't wrap it around. You come in between the needles. Here's 1. And that first row is a little tight typically. And 2. And 3. Now I've knit across. Now instead of like normal knitting, you would turn your work and then maybe knit or purl back across depending. But with I-cord, you leave it on, you don't turn, instead you slide it back across to the end again, so that again you're bringing your yarn across the back of those 3 stitches. Bringing it across and in between. 1, not wrapping it around. Again, I'm sliding it across. So you're always, and I also pull down tightly the tail yarns just to get it nice and snug. And when you're pulling your yarn across the back, you also want to do that quite snugly. Pulling down the tail yarns, sliding it across. Let me pull out some yarn here, getting all hung up. And again, insert the needle, pull snugly across the back of those 3 stitches in between the 2 needles. Pull down on the tail yarn, slide across. I'm going to do 2 more passes. Pull down on my tail yarns, pull snugly with my working yarns, slide it across. You can see see how it's like a cord. And 1 more. If you don't know the history of I-cord, what I hear, it stands for idiot cord, and it was what moms used to knit onto their kids' mittens so that they could have a cord between their mittens and slide through one sleeve, the cord all the way up through the sleeve, over the back, through the other sleeve, so they would never lose their mittens. Okay? Now I'm going to show you what it means to fasten off. The last direction is to fasten off all the stitches. My cord's made. Of course, you have to go much longer than that. It's good TV knitting, or good passenger in the car knitting, or good sitting at a boring meeting knitting. And I've cut my yarn, leaving a little bit of a tail, and I take those and thread my cheap blue plastic tapestry needle. Where are those chibis when you need them? You lose the chibis like you lose the second sock, don't you? And I mean the second sock from the laundry. Got to get both of those tail yarns through. And then all I do is, again, slide back to the position whereas if I was going to knit, but instead I just pop off each stitch, each of the double yarn stitches onto my needle. 1. So again, it's bringing that yarn across the back of those 3 stitches, and 3, and just pull it through. And there, that's fastening it off. There you go. See you next time.